Hello everybody and welcome to Workshop Studios. We're here today on this project. Oops, got to point back here. This project right here. We're going to put kind of a patio area in here, and it's going to go along with that fire pit over there. And to do that we need to take out a bunch of trees and clean this area up. So let's get started. So here's the area we're talking about right here. There's the fire pit. And it's towards the back of our property. As you can see, here's the deck. We've got a lot of videos on that, and barbecue and all kinds of things up here we've done videos on. There's the front of the house out that way. So all the way to the back of the property here we have an area that's kind of slowly transforming into an opportunity for a lovely spot for a patio and fire pit. So right now we're kind of in the middle of cleaning it all up. And I've been removing plants from in here. This is hydrangeas were back here and they're just way too dry for them. I think they call this dry shade in the world of gardeners. But these trees, we already have permission to take those two out. This little one here and this one hiding behind the big pine here. These are all four of these are volunteer silver maples, and they take a little bit of effort to get them out of there, but we'll do it. And then we need to get this area reasonably level with the fire pit area, and then we're going to put in more flagstone like this to round this area out. It'll take a while to do it for me, but I'm going to try and work you through this so it doesn't get to be too long of a video, and we'll show you how we kind of get at this. Now we will be leaving this pine, that big giant pine, that one's a sweet gum there, this one is a dogwood tree, and that's our orchard over there, which we have a lot of videos on as well. And then there's a big Bradford pear there. We're going to take that oak out over there, but that's not really part of this video. But there'll be plenty of trees back here. We're also leaving this really lovely Japanese maple, and hopefully give it a little more sun and it'll grow faster. And so we'll be able to clean this whole area up and make it a lovely spot for sitting, either for a fire pit or just out here for a nice time. I'll be using the same technique I've showed you already to get these trees out of here. I want to get as much of that root ball out as possible. Certainly those two. This one I'm not so worried about, and this one back here I'm not so worried about, but these two I definitely want to get the root balls out because I need to get back in there and level that out, which means I need to get as much of that root structure out of there. So I'll be using that same approach of using the water wand and working the dirt back away from the roots and trying to get come along on there and pull that out as much as we can. All right, we'll start by getting this little guy out here. He won't take long at all. All right, so I got her down to the stump, and I'll work on that later. Just wanted to get the bulk of the tree out of here first. All right, so now we're going to work on this one next. That is a bigger one. So we'll work on that and see if we can't get that sorted out. All right, so that has the come along on it. You saw me putting that on there. Oops, right there. Got some reasonable tension, so now we'll go work on the base of it. All right, so we'll start to get some of these surface roots out of the way, and maybe the tree will move, hopefully. We'll find out. All right, got some pretty good movement out of it. I thought there would be more to it, but the surface root seems to be holding on to a lot of it. So we'll see if we can use the come along to pull it on over. All right, so clearly we have made a lot of movement with the base of this tree, and hopefully you can see now that we're looking at the fence line here that we're trying to get this tree to go that way away from the fence and land in a place where it's not going to do any harm. So the angle I had before, I was pulling over that way and it was not pulling away from the fence enough, so I've moved it over here and now I'm going to pull. But at this point it's going to be kind of interesting because it's hitting this tree now. It'll sort of rotate it around. I haven't done anything quite like this one before, but we'll see how it works out. I may have to cut a little bit more at the base there to get it to come down. The other problem with this tree is it's getting caught in all these branches up here, which is not uncommon for a tree to do when it's getting cut down, but we're trying to pull it down through the branches of that Bradford pear, which is not going to be a problem. I don't care about that, but just trying to get it to fall down this way. So there it is out of the ground, on the ground, and it was a big one. What it ended up doing was coming down across here and falling very nicely right there where I hoped it would. Didn't hurt a thing. So now got some work cutting it up, but that's that tree down. Well, here's another view of this tree down. And you can see it's a pretty big one. I'd say that's a good maybe 35 feet long all the way out to the tip. So we'll get that cut up and start on the next one. Here's a burn pile from a previous video, which I'll post up there, where I took out an oak using the water wand. And there's where we're working over there. So we'll be bringing all of that material over here. And this is kind of our staging ground. It's both mulching and burn pile, that when we get to a nice cool fall, we'll go ahead and have a nice burn. All right, so there's the next two trees are there and there. This one is probably a good 10 inches in diameter at the base. Here's my hand up against it. So you can see that's a big boy. That one is probably 45, 50, maybe even 60 feet high. That one over there is about half that size, but still big. So I think I might start with that one first. All right, so I have that set up with the come along on it, and we'll start working on the base using our usual arsenal of tools here. All right, so after all the washing of dirt out, you can see how open that is down there. And we can cut through those roots, maybe even using the chainsaw, and give us a good start. But that's all that dirt washed out and went down there. So it makes it a lot easier. All right, that's cut enough so it's starting to move. And I'm not sure exactly what we've got left, maybe a little bit more of a taproot, but I heard some cracking, so see if we can't get it down now. All right, well, that tree is down, and time to clean it up and on to the next one, which is that one right there. Right, so I have my control line, and I come along on there on this next tree, and I'll show you what I'm doing at the base. So what I've been doing is using the chainsaw to cut on either side there, so there's two slices, and then go ahead and use my heavy wedge, hand wedge I should say, and knock those chunks out. There's all the chunks I knocked out, and what that does is it leaves a kind of an open spot for me to get my drill and sawzall down into it, because some of these are going to be pretty deep, you know, for fairly thick roots, so I want to go down and get as much out of the way as I can so I can get down there. So we'll see how this trick works. All right, so this big tree is ready to come down. I've gotten all of the parts cut down there, as I showed you earlier. Come along is ready. It's already making the right noises, so let's take her down. So this is what apparently lumberjacks call a widowmaker, because now it's sort of stuck in the tree up there, which I knew it would, and it is broken at the bottom, but it's still hanging on by a thread. So we'll do some careful thinking here and see if we can't figure out a way to get this thing down. I ran out of pulling power on the come along too. Come over and show you. See, I can't pull it anymore because it's just too close to this, so I'll have to do something like wrap it or something to get a little more space. All right, well, the big storm last night didn't bring down the tree, obviously. So I'm trying a different thing. I'm trying to pull the root ball back this way. And it kind of got hung up over here on the roots that are left in there. So I raised this up, and I think it's ready to come sliding back this way. So let's try it out. All right, so it's down on the ground, nice and safe now, well, relatively speaking. Let's go check out the carnage. There was a big one up there, but it fell just where I was hoping, right down the middle, and didn't damage the Japanese maple. Broke a branch or two off of Bradford pear, but we want to take some of those down anyway, so thank you, tree. All right, time to start cutting this bad boy up. We'll have a couple of projects in mind for this lumber. So I'm going to leave this section up pretty long and that section pretty long. But that's for another video. So I'll start cutting this up and working my way back. Well, so here's the roots left over behind after the tree, that big tree came out. And here's, that's probably a good 8-inch root right there. And those are, 3-4-inch roots. Now, the nice thing about roots is they don't tend to stay that big all the way out. So what I'm going to do is use my come along again, hook on them, and see if I can yank them out of there. At least get the majority of them out so that I can get this ground level with the existing stones and level out, well, level-ish out that far. So that'll be the next job, is pulling those bigger roots out.